Welcome to the Maiden Myth Live. This is where things may get a little bit messy. But yes, we're here for, oh no, not in the bad way. I didn't say it like that, right?
No, but I mean, any kind of messy is interesting, I should say.
Right. Messy as in we just expound on the episode and we may contradict ourselves. We may go back. We may revisit. We may become enlightened, but it's all good and it's all fun. We're sorting things out right here. That's what I mean by that, okay? I have an incredible guest with me. But before I introduce her, my co-host.
Hello.
Give him your name, girl. Give him your name.
I'm Jennifer Edison.
And I'm Sophia Stevens. And I am here with the lovely Tryphena Wade.
Hello, ladies.
Actress, writer, director, producer extraordinaire. How are you?
I'm good.
You're wonderful.
I'm good.
And you did a film.
I did a film. We did a film.
We did a film.
Sophia was in my film, and we shot last weekend.
Yeah.
And I finally feel like a human being again. I felt like a zombie for a couple of days, but now I feel human again.
Yes. And the film is called Solomon's Mood.
Solomon's Mood.
I can't wait for the world to see this.
I also cannot wait.
I love that title.
Isn't
you.
It's so intriguing.
Yes. So wait, where did the title come? Like, what inspired this title?
So, I had been reading for some reason. I can't remember why, but I had been reading Song of Solomon and just seeing how like romantic and kind of erotic it is.
I was gonna say erotic. Yeah,
It's very sexy.
Mm-hmm.
There's actually a line in the film that I kind of feel like most people who read the Bible don't actually read that part.
What part?
The Song of Solomon.
Oh, the whole book.
Like I said, yeah, there's a line in the
yeah.
film where I
that.
say that.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, y'all left this whole sex part out.
Tell you.
Y'all be acting like this don't exist,
Right.
but it's in here. It's in the book.
It's in the book. Yeah.
So I had been reading that, and then there was a song. There's a song called "Mood" by Roberta Flack and Donny Hathaway.
Yeah.
It's completely instrumental. People be like, "Oh, I was looking for the song and I found the instrumental," and I'm like, "No, that's the song." It was 7 minutes of instrumentation. Piano. It's beautiful. But I just kind of put the two. At first, I was gonna call the song "Mood" or I was gonna call the film "Mood" because I was using the song, and at one point, girl, this thing has gone through so many iterations. But at one point, it was like a 3-part. I was calling it a love. I was calling it.
Not a trilogy.
It was not. I wasn't calling it a trilogy, but it was like a love story in 3 parts or something like that.
Oh.
So, and the song was going to underscore all 3 parts, and it was going to be silent.
A silent film.
It was going to be silent film. The middle part was going to be all choreography.
I miss a good silent film though.
Girl, might have to do that.
Come on.
Might have to do it. But so originally I was calling it "Mood," and then I was reading Song of Solomon, and I was like, oh. Should call it Solomon's Mood.
Solomon's Mood.
People always think there's a character named Solomon, and I'm
Right.
like, they're like, who's gonna play Solomon? And I'm like, there's no Solomon. But it's called Solomon.
It's the
I
vibe.
understand that.
It's Solomon's vibe. It's the
Solomon-
vibe of Song of Solomon.
Exactly.
Okay.
Oh, I
Sentimental
love
mood.
that.
Solomon's mood.
Yes.
Okay. I'm just so proud of you. It was incredible to be
Thank
on that
you.
set. You
Thank
were
you.
phenomenal, and I just look forward to seeing this.
Thank you. And thank you for being a part of it.
Oh my gosh, I was honored.
Yeah.
I was honored. So look, let's get right to it,
Let's get
okay?
into it.
We
All right.
we're following up the episode that talks about the myth you have to be married by a certain age. The infamous 30, 35, 40. I've
I've
that
actually
was
never
a
even heard
collective sigh.
40.
You never heard 40?
No, I've heard like 28, 30,
Yeah,
35.
it's
I
by-
think people give up
by
on you after
30.
35.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, 40? Oh, well, girl, go buy your cats.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's over for you.
Yeah.
You get that,
Uh-huh.
oh.
They stop asking.
Yeah.
They do.
They don't ask if you're dating anymore. It's like,
They
oh.
still asking me.
Well, they still ask, but it's almost like a judgmental ask. Like,
Are you dating?
are you being so picky?
Now, wait a whole cotton picking minute, because that's exactly
I'm
how
talking
it comes. That is exactly what we're going to talk about today. But first, was there anything in the episode that stood out to you?
To hear women say,
I already know what
if I had to do it again, I probably wouldn't.
It was just the honesty for me.
And I'm just like, but I've heard a lot of people say that. And I'm like,
You have.
is marriage not cracked up? It ain't. Is it not what it's cracked up to
Oh,
be?
it's
Like,
cracked-
are we all running after something stupid?
I'm gonna be
You know?
honest.
I grapple with that.
Like,
very
are
often.
we? Should we just take trips and drink wine? Like what? Like and live
Yes.
life?
I feel like friends, like they give you that look, and they say it's great,
Right? And you like,
and it's that stare, and they
something
like,
behind
but
the eyes.
take your time, and it's like,
should I wait till I'm 60? Like
They,
what?
they hit you with the be sure.
Be
Be
And I'm
sure,
like,
yes.
were you not?
Right.
and
I'm
it's
nervous.
hard.
Right. Oh,
They
you get
emphasize it's
You
hard.
get that extra H.
The extra H.
You get that extra H and that drawn out A, and you like, well, dang,
Right.
Hard.
It's
It's just a dip.
the quivering voice.
Hard. He said, "Oh, okay. Well,
Okay, well,
yeah. I was when I was interviewing her, I could tell that she loved him.
yeah,
She loves her husband. It's
Yeah.
very clear.
yeah.
But this is a woman who had been independent for so long.
That's the thing.
Yes, that is the thing.
Yeah.
She exercised her own freedom, her own space. She was just like living in her truth and her freedom, and she could go as she pleased, and she was good with it. Now, for the woman who's not good with it, or maybe is just, a little more flexible,
Yeah.
then okay, I think the adjustment wouldn't have been as strenuous. But for her,
Yeah.
that was a little bit of what she said. But she
Yeah.
definitely was honest about.
She was honest. I appreciate it.
I did too, because as she said, most people are not honest.
Yeah.
Or they hide under.
And I think that probably contributes to the high rates of divorce because people go in
thinking one
deaf,
day.
dumb, and blind because no one has been honest with them. And they're like, hold up, y'all didn't tell me it was going to be all this. And they haven't prepared their minds for it. So they're like, this is too much. I can't do it. I feel like that's part of the reason why there's so much divorce is that people have not been prepared.
Wow.
You know?
I agree.
So I appreciate the honesty.
Yeah.
You know? I do.
Absolutely. Was there anything that stood out to you?
I found it interesting the duality that she had. It was
Okay.
like on the one hand, I'm happy, I'm in love, and on the other hand, I could have not done this. And that I don't know if I've ever really heard it quite put that way. It's usually like, well, there's no regrets. I would do it all over again, but it's hard. But she's like, I could have not done this.
Wow.
But
Yeah.
now that I have, I'm happy.
Yeah.
But I could see where I would have still been happy without it.
Yeah.
So I found that to be interesting.
Right.
There's this duality, but it kind of, I don't know, it was kind of inspiring in a way.
How
I
so?
feel like she was giving a positive side to both.
Okay.
What
was the positive side she gave?
Because I feel like listening to her story, I don't feel like as a single person, I didn't take away, oh, well, I'm really missing out. She kind of gave you the side where it's like, okay, I do enjoy being married, but now that I'm here, I can't look back on my single life and say, this is miles above, so you can, as a single person, say, okay, well, I'm not necessarily missing out on anything that brings me joy. This is just a different kind of joy that comes with, its own sets of pros and cons.
Yeah.
The gift of singleness, the gift of marriage.
Yeah.
And so I was literally listening to her like, I got gifts. I got a whole package. And
Yeah.
I'm like going
And
to
we gotta
enjoy
live
this.
in it.
Yeah.
And we got to live in
We
it.
gotta live
Yeah.
in it.
Okay, so one of the things that stood out to me is, of course, Joyce, as you get older, you have a certain way of doing things.
Mhm.
There's a certain way of living that you become accustomed to. And so that starts to become something that I suppose, and disagree with me if I'm wrong, that you look for in a mate. Yes. Okay, wait, we're thinking. Maybe not. For instance, you like to travel.
Yeah.
Now you've been told, oh, you need to find a traveler. Would you disagree with that though?
I would like someone who likes to travel. Yes. That is not to say that we always have to go everywhere together. But at this point in my life, I want somebody I can do life with. And that's part of my life. So if you are a person who doesn't ever want to go anywhere, you just want to chill in the house,
Oh.
That's probably not gonna work. And I mean, I love being at home. Like I just love being in my space.
Yeah.
But I also love to go I love to travel and explore. I'm adventurous. So I want someone who is also open and able and willing to do those things with me.
That seems very reasonable.
Yes,
Yeah. I mean,
absolutely.
to me, that just makes sense. But it's like if we're gonna do life together, let's do life together.
Right. Yeah.
And again, that doesn't mean you do everything together. There may be things that I enjoy that he's like, I'm not feeling that, and I'm like, all right, cool, and vice versa. But if I'm gonna still do everything by myself, then what are we doing?
Ooh. Well, yeah.
What are we doing?
Yeah. There's truth in that. What about you? Are there some things that you're like, now that I have lived single for this long, here's something that I have grown accustomed to, and it's like I'm looking for this in another person?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, I I can speak to the house in particular. I cannot do a filthy, junky person.
No.
That is a deal breaker, 1000%. And that's something I am set in. Like I have a way that I handle my kitchen that's very functional and efficient. And the thought of somebody coming in and just leaving dishes in the sink and leaving socks and stuff on the couch and
Why are your socks on the couch, sir?
You know what's I feel so judged.
Am I speaking of you?
It's crazy because I'm like, yes. And then I'm like, but I don't mind my mess. I don't mind my clutter because I understand my clutter. So I'm like, it happens. Like, especially if I get busy with projects, it's terribly embarrassing, but it happens quite often.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can see that.
I can compromise to an extent. Your private space, do what you will.
Yes.
But let's respect the common areas.
Common areas need to be respected.
Let's leave the kitchen clean because, I love to cook.
Yeah.
And, I don't care if my person cooks or not.
Yeah.
But for me to feel inspired and really want to cook a lot, I need my kitchen clean. So you just compromise.
Yeah.
So if your bathroom, because I believe in separate bathrooms.
Yeah.
So if you want to have your bathroom a mess, just do that. We can get that clean.
So you saying that now, but if you walk past it and you see
close that door,
shavings and trimmings all on the sink.
If I don't have to see your little hairs that you shaved, because men do that. If I don't have to see it and I don't have to navigate around it because that's your bathroom, I'm good.
Wow.
Even if you saw underwear with skid marks on them on the ground, that wouldn't bother you either.
See now that's a whole
but that's
different
cleanliness.
topic.
There's a difference
sweaty,
between messy and clean and dirty.
Okay, so what are some things that you just have you gotten to a place where there's some things you just cannot compromise on? As a matter of fact, that's like standards and preferences, right? So there are some things that you're like, this is a must-have. Like, and it doesn't even have to be with a guy. Like, we could talk about, like, it could be even homes. For instance, I mean, this is very random. But I'm just like, as I've gotten older, just many things, I'm like, this is what I need now. So I have an apartment. I just moved into this new apartment. There are certain things I need, and I don't have them in this apartment. I need bright, clean, quiet, safe. I got clean. I got safe. My upstairs
loud
neighbors.
and dark.
I said, what are y'all doing upstairs?
Yeah.
My last apartment, I had a wall of windows. Now it's like my kitchen is dark, and I'm like, I don't even feel inspired to make a meal.
I'm the same. No. I'm the same.
I need sunshine.
Yeah, my space now, we don't get any. The way the building is constructed or
LA has that,
it's
right?
Weird. And I have noticed that's like, it feels like an LA thing, and I'm like, maybe it's because it can get so hot and this, that they're avoiding direct sunlight into the home. But
meanwhile,
I need that.
I need all the light.
I feel like a seed planted with no sun to help me grow.
I don't like you. And yet I love you.
I need, if we talk about things that we need in our home space, I need light.
I need light.
I'm not even going to consider it without light.
My dream is to never have to turn on a light light during the day.
Ever. I had to turn on my living room light. It was like 11 o'clock in the morning. I'm like,
hate it.
this is unnecessary. Why? There is a whole sun.
There's a whole sun outside.
And you got me putting
a whole
out
bright sky. Not a cloud in the sky. And yet I feel like it is the dead of winter in this house because it's so dark. And I got to turn on all the lights. So that's something I need in a home space that I don't currently have. And I'm just like, oh.
I can't wait to move. I'm looking at that lease
move?
like
Did you just move?
and I hate moving. But I'm looking already like where we going?
Yeah.
Where we going next? Because I can't do it.
A dark place, that's tough because it affects your mood.
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
So that's
so I need that.
That's that, right. Okay, so what's another standard we have now?
We talking about of a man or
it could literally be anything at this point.
I mean, when it comes to relationships though, I feel like you would think you get more narrow. I feel like I've expanded. I've gotten more broad.
Wow.
I feel like when I was younger, I was way more specific. You know?
So you mean you more things fit in now?
You're living life.
I had more check boxes. You know, it's like you get that person on paper.
Okay, hold on.
Oh.
What was the craziest thing you had on your list?
What was the craziest
We
thing?
make it judge for this. That's why they single. That's why they ain't got no man. See what I'm talking about? Like, just hold on. Hold on, okay?
Okay.
I'll tell you my craziest. You know one of my craziest.
What?
The craziest thing I had on my list. Y'all, I was brought up, raised in the church. And so I was like, if he cuss,
Oh, yes.
it ain't meant to be.
Yeah,
I think at one point, I don't think it was on my list, but I think at one point I was very judgy about that.
I was like, oh, he don't know the Lord.
Days, it's a few words be flying out my mouth too, so it's all right. We could get sanctified together.
Listen.
These days, I'm like, you deserve what I'm about to say.
That's hilarious. But my mom and dad, they've never cursed. Like my dad would say things like stars.
Oh, no.
He was a nerd. He's a cute nerd. Stars.
What is that for? What?
SHIT. Stars. Girl. Yes.
Wow.
Or my mom be like, nincompoop. She'd be driving.
You say that a lot.
I do say, hello, nincompoop. I said, girl, where you get that word from?
Nincompoop.
Look at her.
That's very
How
cute.
sweet, because
Meanwhile,
my
quite
entire
endearing.
family just sailors.
Sailors, really?
Sailors.
Nobody in my family.
From the babies to the grandparents, all of them.
We were taking a
Nobody in
hike.
my family cousins.
Same. See?
Well, I mean,
wait a minute. Not nobody.
We didn't grow up hearing that. That wasn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
But see, it takes maturity because I would judge everything about you because it was just such a strict upbringing.
Yeah.
And we were encouraged to not curse and use your words, the other words, and so I automatically thought, if you cursed, if you smoked. I mean, I came from a very Pentecostal Assemblies of the World. It was like, I was PAW. And my mom was UPC.
What's that?
Okay, so that was in London. They're huge in London. At least the Caribbeans are UPC. And they don't wear pants. They can't pierce their ears. No tattoos. You can't cut your hair.
Wow.
And she came over here and said, my girls will not be raised that way.
Wow. Yeah.
But we still weren't cussing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
See, I grew up non-denominational, so I didn't
Freedom.
get all of those. Well,
not Baptist, so that was a lot of freedom.
Yeah, I didn't get all of those rules, those denominational rules, but it was still very like there are certain things you won't do.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And like I said before, though, it wasn't necessarily like those things were on my list, but they were in my mind of like if you do this or this or this or this, oh well, you must not be the one. That ain't it. And now I'm like, dang, like
that's interesting.
That's the whole
down a whole lot of folks who could have been great because of that. You know what I mean?
Messed up. I mean, I look back in my mind, I'm like, well, I don't think I really missed out on anybody, but you never know.
No, but you just you don't want to walk through life making judgment calls about people because of those in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
Child, it's preachers out here cussing, so I'm gonna need everybody to shut it down.
Listen.
Okay, let's stop.
We have preachers cussing in our church. Like, it's interesting because I grew up very strict. And the church I grew up in was very strict. We couldn't wear pants, makeup, all of that. But
look at it now.
Everybody was cussing.
Got your jeans on.
People cussed, and we didn't really have that kind of thing. It was interesting because I feel like, people, we did adhere to the pants thing, which was hard. But
Wow.
there were other ways, like most of the people just kind of did their own thing outside of church. So you didn't it was surprisingly less judgmental than you would expect, because when you come from something so strict, you expect to have that eye of, well, if they're not doing that, then you can't commune with them, or that's not appropriate. And most people kind of took the opposite, like I have a cousin that married an atheist.
Wow.
Yeah,
but she didn't wear pants.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. So it was like, it was
Wow.
an interesting thing. So I didn't, I don't know. It was the restriction.
So it was very external. What do you look like?
Yeah.
Not who are you?
Yeah.
Dang. Okay. Well, there you go.
I
Yeah.
can't imagine the no pants thing. Like, I just
What you
can't
not gonna
imagine
In
do?
that.
Michigan, and it was cold.
Oh,
Yeah.
my
Legs
Lord. It's
freezing.
cold in the
Imagine
D.
not
It's
wearing
so
pants.
cold in the D.
Okay, so this for me is a non-negotiable still. And
Ooh.
it's very important to me. It's high on the list. I can't do someone who lacks a vision.
Mm.
Can't do it.
Wow.
Someone that I follow, it's a couple that I follow who they're a married couple, and they also do like relationship coaching and marriage counseling and that kind of thing. And they have a social media presence. And the husband, I think it was yesterday, posted something about how a woman is not obligated to, or a wife is not obligated to support everything that you do. And he said something that really stuck to me. He said, musical chairs of ideas. He was like, she's not obligated to stick with you through your musical chairs of ideas. And I was like, that phrasing, because I've experienced that before, where it's like, you got this idea, you got that idea, but
you gotta follow along.
you're not actually pinpointing anything that you're going to focus on and do. And I'm expected to just go along and support. Okay, babe. No.
So
No.
is the issue the lack of execution?
The issue is, and also too, for me at this point, it's also an age thing, because I'm a woman of a certain age.
Yes.
And if we were in our mid-20s, and we were both trying to figure it out,
man,
then all right, great. He has great ideas. I love it. I just know he's gonna find the thing. But baby, when we get into these late 30s and beyond, my man, my guy, what are you doing? And at this point in life, I need to see receipts.
Wow.
And what's interesting too is that I feel like I've encountered a lot of men who are in transition periods in their lives, which is, I don't mind, because if you're in transition and you've decided, I'm going to do something new, I'm going to start my own company or whatever it is, I can still look at your history and see he has a history of commitment to this plan, this vision, this idea, this whatever it is. And you've built that up over time. Like, you've worked on that over time, and you got to a point in your life where you're like, you know what? I'm done with the corporate hustle. I want to start my business. I want to do my thing. But I can see the receipts of your work. I can see that you know how to commit to something and see it through. But if you haven't done that, and you're still trying to figure out what you're trying to do, to me, it's just like you're just all over the place. And as a woman who's not all over the place, I don't want to be all over the place with you. Because if I join myself to you, that's going to affect my life.
Yeah.
And I'm not interested in being all over the place.
Wow.
So if you are in a space where you're still trying to figure out what you want to do, that's great. There's nothing wrong with that. But you can't be here, there, and everywhere and expect me to just run behind you and be here, there, and everywhere with you. I know.
So you're saying, like, basically, you want him to know where he's going.
I want you to have a vision, and I want to see you working. I want to be able to see what you're doing to work towards a vision that you can articulate to me clearly.
Yeah, I mean, you saying it like no joke, but I can't disagree with that. It's like, You don't, I mean, and it's not even, so when you say vision, what if they don't have a vision, but they have a great job?
That's fine. If you have a great job, that's fine.
Yeah.
But if, and I get it, I feel like for people who are visionaries, it's hard to understand people who are not visionaries.
I mean, I understand non-visionaries, but they just don't excite me.
Yeah.
Like
you got your good job, you're gonna stay on it until you retire, and then you're gonna take your retirement. And
there's
that's
something
fine.
actually a little appealing to that as a visionary, because then I'm like, well, you gonna always hold it down.
Exactly.
So we're gonna be good.
Yes,
exactly.
But that's what I mean, is like being solid in something. Whether it's that good 9 to 5 that you plan to stay on until you retire, or if you're a visionary, you're an artist, you're a entrepreneur, whatever it is, but you're solid in what you're doing.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about someone who just like, well, maybe I'll do this. Well, maybe I'll start that company. Well, maybe I'll do.
So basically, he doesn't know who he is. You just don't have. So you need someone who knows who he
solid
is.
In who he is.
That's. Yeah. I feel you on that 100%.
Yeah.
I feel you on that 1,000%.
So that to me is a non-negotiable. That's a non-negotiable.
That's a reasonable non-negotiable.
Yeah.
Do you have a non-negotiable?
Non-negotiable.
I mean, really?
I mean, I was thinking about, I'm sure I have them, but I was thinking about what she was saying. And I was like, wow, that's interesting, because I feel like I was that when I was younger.
Yeah.
My vision was, he needs to be this. And he needs to, because he needs to be the stability. I'm a creative.
That's not even right. He got to work because I want to do whatever I want to do.
Right. But then, like, I feel like that has flipped for me. Interestingly, because you would think, like, the older you get, the more stable you want your person to be. But I feel like from the trials and tribulations that I've been through, I'm like, man, this is hard.
Yeah.
This is hard. And when you are like a visionary and a creative person, you might jump around a little bit. But I definitely get that you have to match your person. You know, I wouldn't want to burden, someone who doesn't want to go along that ride. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's where you have to be honest, and you have to have those conversations, say, what do you want to do? And what is it that you can see yourself going along with?
Right.
And that's very important.
That's very important. I that's so important. I feel like I almost feel like in a way we don't talk enough about that. Yeah. Because I'm like, think about this. If you get married, or even if you don't want to get married and you just want to find your long-term life partner, you are joining your life to someone else's life.
That's a lot.
And in my mind, I'm like, if I look at your life and the way you live your life and the way you run your life, and I don't like it, I can't then join my life to your life if the way you run and live your life feels messy to me.
I can't sign up for this chaos.
Absolutely.
I'm not doing it.
Because it's a lot. It's a lot to link your life.
Yes, to link your
life. Like, marriage is a big deal.
Yeah.
You are literally joining, intertwining. So everything. You do. So it comes with a set of, issues. Everybody's going to have issues. It's a matter of which set do you feel like you can tolerate.
That's what it is. That's what it is.
Set of issues. So let's talk about that.
Everybody got their stuff.
Let's say you found the perfect guy. Perfect.
Okay. I'm gonna tell you a deal breaker for me. I don't do anger.
Oh, that's your only deal breaker?
It's not my only deal breaker.
Oh, okay.
But what do you mean anger? What expression? Like certain expressions of anger?
People that don't have control over their emotions, particularly anger, where you're easily agitated, like you can pop off very fast. I'm not going to get along with that, because I don't know if it's the Libra in me, but I like peace. And if I feel like I have to constantly fight for peace, why do I need you? Because I have peace without you.
I'm 100% agreeing with you. Like, I'm agreeing with it. A lot of things I'm agreeing with today.
Yeah.
Because first of all, I'll tell you, not only do I love my peace and do I have peace, right? I scare easily. So I'm like, what you not gonna do is have me doing something that'll land me in prison because I'm terrified, okay? Like, no.
See, I want you to be gentle with me, but I also don't necessarily shy away from conflict.
Okay, this is actually very mature of you, but what do you mean by that?
Because I recognize that sometimes people got to get it out. You got to know where and how to get it out. And sometimes you're going to have moments where it might be ugly.
Oh, I totally.
And that doesn't mean that you cussing me out. We're not cussing each other out.
Go.
We're not throwing things across the room. We're not talking about people's mamas. Like, we're not doing that.
Why does it have to go that far?
We're not doing that. But you also can't run away from a hard moment of conflict that feels icky and messy and uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I don't shy away from that.
Mm-hmm. I honestly believe that it's impossible to shy away from in any relationship.
Yeah, you're gonna have those. If you're gonna grow, you're gonna have those
build
moments.
Your relationship.
Yeah,
like, it's the moments that you overcome that make you stronger.
Right,
absolutely.
But it teaches you too.
Right,
you know, like how you do conflict, how you overcome it. And, you know, I can deal with certain types.
Oh my gosh, that's exactly what Jennifer said in this episode. She was talking about how my mom told her, you need to see someone in conflict. And it gets tricky because one of my best friend, I'm gonna say his name, he's gonna get mad at me, Marshall.
Wow.
He used to tell me like, we used to have this conversation because women want to see how a man handles conflict. He didn't like the fact that it seemed like some women were even pushing him towards conflict to see how he would react.
No, I don't like because that's manipulative.
It is very manipulative, and people do that.
Yeah, I don't like
because
that.
They're like, I want to see you mad. I want to see how you respond mad. So they kind of
poke
the bear
authentically, though.
Yeah, because it's gonna happen.
It's gonna come.
You're dealing with a human being. It's gonna happen.
Right.
She said with my mouth.
Right, I'm not fussing nagging, but the things I say, I feel like, dang, I got him upset. What did I say?
Like, why you so mad? What's going on? Girl, did you hear what you just said?
That's hilarious. Okay, so let's say you find the perfect man in every way. Oh, I know your type.
Wait, what's my type?
Tall.
Hey.
Chocolatey,
Jesus.
blackety, black.
Honey.
Smooth
99%
skin.
cacao.
Is he from Ghana? Is he from Nigeria? We don't know. Senegal? We don't know. Are you out there?
Senegal.
Yeah.
Honey.
See, look. She done got excited. I know her type. Educated. Wait, you said math?
Well,
as long as he could read, huh? That's enough.
No. That's something that I've shifted on because I used to be.
She was a scholar.
It used to be like you need to have a college degree.
Yes,
I recognize that doesn't always that doesn't necessarily equal anything.
No,
it don't mean.
And not having it doesn't necessarily equal anything.
No,
honey, give me a good carpenter. High school.
Honey,
you making money? We good.
Jesus was a carpenter.
Let me tell you about a carpenter, honey.
Jesus
that's like if you leave with carpenter, I'm sold.
Why is she saying it? Jesus was a carpenter.
He knows how to work with his hands.
A carpenter's going to get a date. He's going to get a first date.
Oh my God.
He also going to come get on his roof.
Okay. Girl, now we're talking about things that have changed, okay? Mm-hmm. So my preference, we have our standards, but then my preference, so I was in my apartment and something broke down. It's so many things have broken down in New York. And there was a guy who would work on all of the units. One day, I was tired, y'all. I was tired of things breaking down. He came in to fix, what was his thing? It was so many things. It was, it could have been my HVAC unit. I don't know. But as he was working, I said, wow, I never saw him in this light before. He's so good with his hands, Lord.
Strong.
Literally got to. I was like, "Is there? You want some water? I got some meat on in the oven. You want some? He's like, no, I'm good. I said, oh, okay. I know. He was like, what's wrong with her?
No, we didn't all your femininity.
Let me tell you,
there's something about because it's so a man that can fix something.
Honey, fix the thing.
Everything feminine in me just comes to the surface.
I don't want to build another shelf, another table, another bookshelf, another.
At all.
And I had shelves. He was framing my shelves. And then I looked one day and I was like, I I think they need to shift over to the right a little bit. He said, you always change your stuff. It was just so jovial. And he just, I said, well,
you see how she crossed her leg?
Your girl treat you right now. But
you come moving an inch to the left. Oh, you're so strong.
That's so funny. But yeah, that was a preference. That's a preference now.
Yes.
You can't.
Mm-hmm.
But
That's
preferences
major.
you can live
That's
without.
An aphrodisiac.
Right? Preferences you can live without.
You can live without.
So he's perfectly perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Chocolate, tall, high school, whatever. Okay, college. He's good, right?
He's intelligent.
He's intelligent.
And he seeks learning.
He leaves toenail clippings everywhere.
That's gross.
I know.
That's gross.
Is this your big toe again? Is this?
That is disgusting.
Would you say no? Would you leave him? Visionary, man of vision,
and everything else is in place.
Chocolate tall.
Oof. You keep saying chocolate
because I know.
Oof,
even his toenails is chocolate.
Wait, that's nasty. That's called fungus. Now we need to go to the doctor because that's fungus.
I think it's a yes over there.
That might be a yes.
I would scoop them toenails.
No, I won't be scooping.
Listen,
we'll be hiring someone to scoop.
I can do the toenails. That ain't nothing.
We'll be hiring someone to scoop because, honey, if you're giving me everything else, if everything else is in place, for real, I mean, okay, we could deal with some toenails. That's so gross because I hate feet too. I really have a thing about feet. I need them to be covered at all times.
What?
I don't want to see your feet.
Oh, I'm torturing you.
But you're good. Oh. But specifically, because a lot of times men don't have good feet.
Oh, so perfectly perfect, but hammer time on the feet.
Cover those. Cover them.
And he said, no, baby, either you love me for everything, all my hammer toes, my bunions, my corns.
Cover them.
No, baby.
He don't believe in covering.
He don't believe. You know if he from Ghana.
He ain't wearing no.
Because they ain't wearing no socks.
But they're also not wearing shoes that constrict their feet, so their feet
are
able to
somehow,
grow.
The man you chose
has the hammer toes.
He got hammer toes.
You know what? She gonna love his feet.
I will not love his feet. I will love him.
What if he wanted you to rub his feet?
We're not doing that.
What are we talking about?
I draw lines.
I want the follow up.
I draw lines, and
when
me
she get
coming
married in
into
2 years,
and we gonna look at his toes.
Like,
we gonna look at the feet.
I draw the line and coming into contact with your feet.
I can't
draw.
You go all the way. Y'all making love. You go all the way down to the ankle and say, "What?
That's about it." You coming right on back up,
on, baby.
Problem.
So this is a question. There is a myth, of course, that women. There are actually 2 myths, and they clash with each other. And of course, there's a morsel of truth to everything, right? So women get desperate at a certain age. Women are too picky. Do you think there is any truth to either of those? Or is it just a figment of everyone's imagination because they're trying to understand why we're single?
I think there can be some truth to both. I don't want you were about to say something. I'm gonna let you go.
I think that society does push women into desperation at a certain point. And then some of us break out of it and some of us don't. And there's this pressure to do a certain thing by a certain age, get married by a certain age. You want to have your kids by a certain age because your OBGYN is going to tell you that after 35, you're done.
Geriatric pregnancy.
Yeah.
It's so rude.
So rude.
And it's just like I feel like we're a different generation and we're starting to learn that. We're starting to see peers that are 41, 42, having babies without issues. First child, like you said. And it's like, oh, wait. So I think some people are breaking out of that anxiety that society is telling you have no more time left and that your value is decreasing. So as some break out, some don't. And I do think there's truth to the desperation. And then you find people just saying, look, I just need to meet this timeline. He'll do.
He's fine. Come on.
He's fine. Let's do it. They're married and they're miserable.
Yeah. Okay. And what about you?
I definitely think there's some truth to both. I agree. I do think that there's societal pressure to do things by a certain age. And so that does kind of push you into desperation. When it comes to being picky, I think that goes back to what was it? Preferences versus
standards versus preferences.
Yeah. And I think at the end of the day, you want what you want.
I agree.
You know what I mean? Like, if it doesn't work for you, well, then it don't have to work for you because it's my preference. It's not yours. It's my standard. It's not yours. You know what I mean? But when it comes to the desperation, that's actually kind of, this is why I'm going to pull out my Bible.
Okay.
There's a bit of a prophetic reality, I guess, to that, because there is a scripture that talks about how and I think it's in reference to like the last days, where it talks about how 7 women will cling to one man and say, we will let me read it. Let me read it.
Is that in Revelations?
It's not actually. It's not actually. But let me pull it up, honey.
It sounds like terror.
Let me pull it right on
the
up.
horror.
Let me pull it right on up. It's in Isaiah.
7 women clinging?
It says,
I feel like that's happening to
that's what I'm
extent.
saying. It talks about how, oh, come on, where is it?
Come on. The devil is a lie.
And it says, and in that day, 7 women will take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own food and wear and provide our own clothes. Only let us be called by your name. Take away our shame of being unmarried.
Oh, wow.
We are in the time. Isaiah chapter 4, verse 1.
I'm going to have to go to Bible Hub and look at the context and the commentary.
And I was like, because I even had this question of myself, like, know, right now, relationships are the thing that everybody's talking about. People who are single want to be married, and people who are married are advising single people. And I think in a way that's good, because in the time that we grew up in, people weren't talking about marriage. Right. So a lot of people realized, I don't know what I'm doing. I want this thing, but I don't even have any idea of how to engage, how to get it, how to keep it. And so a lot of people are talking about relationships, but I'm also like, why are there so many single people who want marriage and we're unable to find each other? And that's so confusing to me.
It makes me feel like not only are we doing it wrong, we are looking for marriage to serve a purpose that it's not supposed to serve.
That it was never supposed to serve.
It was never supposed to serve. And so I'm still even continuing with or trying to figure that out myself.
Yeah.
Like, especially now that I am of age where I'm like, well, I don't know if I want to have kids, or maybe not even want to, because I do want to have children, but if I will have children.
Yeah.
So it was okay. It may be a childless marriage, which is still a fruitful marriage. It can be a very fruitful marriage. But then it's also like I have my own autonomy. Yeah. I don't need anyone to direct me. I'm not leaving daddy's house, and I need you to provide for me. Yeah. So then what is this marriage going to be for me? And that's why I like Joyce's answer. It's like companionship. Yes. Okay, am I looking for a perfect person to be a companion? Or am I just looking for somebody who can make me laugh and I can live securely with? So trust me, I understand. I have often thought, and I often think, we're all just doing it wrong.
Yeah.
We're looking for too much in an individual, and it also puts pressure on us to be the perfect person. Because if you ask, I don't do the women who ask, and can I give? What you're not going to do, now thank God I'm surrounded by women who are dope, but I'm like, what you're not going to do is ask for a man to do this and that, and you can't do anything. You can't hold up what they're asking for.
But I think our functions are different. I don't know that we're necessarily meant to be able to do the same things. Oh. And I think that kind of flies in the face of the whole feminism thing. It's like, anything a man can do, I can do. No, you're not meant to do everything a man can do.
Well, like what?
I agree with that.
I know. We've had here, and this is where because I don't. What does that mean?
I just and I think that if we're talking about what traditional marriage has been, there's a reason why it has been what it has been. There's a reason why the man is the breadwinner, because he was the only one who was allowed to work.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We talk about, like, I don't know. I just feel like
my question is, what are we
not supposed to do? I just feel like there's a certain, and maybe it may not necessarily be about tasks, but I think there is a particular positioning that has been established from the beginning of time as far as like the man being the protector and the provider. And when I say provider, I don't mean you go make all the money and you pay for everything in the house. That's not necessarily equal to provider, but I think there's a space of security that is provided by a man that a woman is not necessarily meant to provide. We've been forced into those positions, I think, but I don't think that's necessarily the natural way of things. You know what I mean? Uh-oh.
What do you think about that?
How you feeling?
I agree. I feel like there is a natural feminine thing and there's a natural masculine thing, and they work well together. And when you try too hard to do the opposite of what you are, it clashes.
But what is that? The opposite of what I am.
I don't even know that
I can't be a carpenter.
No,
but it's not about the task.
Yeah, it's not about the task.
I'm like, what is it?
Because I don't know that there's a specific thing. There's an essence, but your essence.
But what does that have? So I guess if in the context of this conversation, right? Mm-hmm. So we're talking about. I got to remember what we were talking about. We were talking about basically. I was saying we're doing things wrong. We're looking for different things or particular things in a person, a partner, mm-hmm. and we may be asking for too much, right? That was the basis of this.
Yeah.
And so if I've been living by myself, first of all, there is masculine traits that have been developed in me because I've had to.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it makes me wonder, what do I have to now release in order to bring a person into my life?
What do you want to release? Do you want to release anything? There's some things I want to release,
I'm not gonna sit here in front. Yeah, there is some
things I want to release.
I mean, yeah. But I'm like, what are we talking about? I don't know. Because I mean, look, it was even getting these chairs up here. So I
want to release having a chair, carry a chair up.
For those who are not watching on YouTube, for those who are listening, we are sitting on some nice quality chairs. And I looked at I had a dear friend say, hey, I have some chairs for you. I'm like, oh my gosh, great. That's amazing. I go to get these chairs. And my friend Jennifer, mm-hmm. honey, dainty, mm-hmm. she said, oh, girl, those chairs look heavy. You know me. I'm what do you call that? The every woman? What do you call that? Rosie,
you can do it with the girl. Yeah. She's like kissing her arm.
I said, girl, them chairs ain't nothing. I said, got them chairs.
Don't expect
Sophia, release that.
I told her, I'm not carrying them up these stairs. I'm not doing it.
So I go to the place. I go to his.
Because I'm the same way.
Girl, I'm ready. I'm bringing this up.
And I'm learning to release that.
I'm bringing this up.
Can you lift that for me, please? Not because I can't.
My mother even tells my sister, and she's like, let him do
Let him do it.
And I'm like, okay. But before I be like, I got this, girl. I got to that man's job. I bent down. I did not come back up. I said, these chairs are really heavy. He said, I'll put them in a U-Haul. Meanwhile, I'm thinking, how am I going to get these up
her stairs?
Mm-hmm. I did it all by myself. And then, Imani helped me bring him upstairs.
Mm-hmm. Because I told her, she didn't listen.
Crazy?
I said, we need some men to carry these because I don't listen.
Okay, but then let's talk about that. I called the men.
And they didn't show up?
One knee problem. We at that age now. my right knee. My doctor said I gotta watch this right knee. I said,
why he sound like he's somebody's 60-year-old uncle?
Call another guy. Well, I'm on this job. I get off around 11 o'clock. I said, you don't know. And then another one.
Girl, all you got to do is go to the Home Depot and be like, yo, I got $20.
Girl, when I tell you, that was the next job. But then I said, you know what? I got in my feelings. I said, I'd do it myself. And then I said, Imani. She said, yeah, we got it. And we got, and we collapsed. We got a ball up. We was like, here she come with the pillows. I said, girl, get up. Y'all want some water? Bring the ice. Anyway, so
I told you I'm not lifting no chairs. I told you.
But I suppose I guess I go back and forth between what I need or what all the things that are necessary to have a fruitful marriage. You know what I mean? And we talk. We can go on for hours.
Of course,
we're not going to go on for hours. We're going to end this, but we go back and forth between even paying a bill.
Mm-hmm.
Why everybody
Look,
style?
I know. This is something that I was actually thinking about recently because I grew up in a house where my dad worked. My mom was a stay-at-home mom for most of my childhood.
Yeah.
So that's what I saw.
Mm-hmm.
And in my sphere around me, that was the reality. 2-parent household, the dad goes to work. I did know some women who had careers, but they weren't responsible for the maintenance of the home.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so, obviously you come to expect and desire what you've seen. You know what I mean?
Right.
If it's hopefully if it's been positive, And at this point in my life, I've really had to reevaluate because I'm like, I have a career that I love. I'm not seeking to be a stay-at-home wife or a stay-at-home mom. That's not my jam. I have a career that has promised to be very lucrative. So what do I look like saying to a man, you better come up in here and pay all these bills? That don't even make sense.
It don't make sense.
It don't make sense.
That's all I've been saying.
So I've had to reevaluate for myself what kind of relationship what do I want that to look like?
A partnership. I would love a true partnership.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I do believe that there are some things that, like, for instance, like these chairs. There's just some things I just don't want to have to do.
Right.
Can I get these chairs
I don't want to
upstairs?
pump gas. I don't want to do anything that involves a car.
What?
You gonna pay for my food.
Oh.
I don't want to go. Listen.
You don't want to have to pull out your wallet at the spot.
I don't.
Neither do I.
And that's it. I don't need you to pay my bills. Like, I'm gonna cook. I'm paying for groceries when I cook. If we're going out,
You may not be paying for groceries when you cook. He may be paying for groceries when you cook.
but I'm saying I don't mind. Like, there's just something about.
But he may say, I got the groceries.
That's fine.
So then you could treat him a meal.
I can treat him.
Yeah, I can treat you.
I can treat him if I want to, but I don't want the type of guy that's like, we splitting it or you pay for yours, because there's something
that's weird to me.
This is something else coming up.
It's
all
not
right?
manly.
Weird to me.
It is weird, and most people don't do that. Most men do not say we
Why don't
split
you
this.
go through the history of the men I've dated?
And that's what I'm saying.
'Cause
So
they do.
But
I have encountered men like that, but for the most part, I will say that I've encountered, and I'm thankful that I've encountered men who are like, I'm
that's
doing
been the
this.
majority of my experiences,
I'm
and I feel like
doing
that's been the
this,
majority of your experiences.
Blessings.
You've had a horrible
Blessings on
experience.
blessings you all have had. Yeah.
You've had more than one situation.
Yes.
More than two?
Yes.
I want names.
Wow.
All right, we got to close this out.
Where y'all at?
And I used
Coming
to
for
split.
you.
Listen, I used to split bills, go Dutch.
I'm not splitting.
That's over.
I don't want to split.
If you ask me out, you're paying, and I'm not even going to pull out my
Well,
wallet.
that's
I'm not
different.
even going to
That's
fake it
different.
anymore.
So that means you'll never ask a guy out either.
No, like what if I'm feeling you and we're in our thing and I just want to treat you, then I'm going to do that. But I'm not going to be with someone who's like, ugh, I'm not going to pay for your food.
Well, I would never be with him.
That's
no
how
one
it feels.
Most
Yeah,
people
I
should.
feel you.
Yeah, I totally agree with that then.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, I don't think it's. I didn't think. I don't know where I stand anymore because I just went on a date with a guy, and I felt compelled to pay for his food, and then he upset me, and I said,
Wait, you paid? You treated him?
I treated him because he had treated me the night before to
Okay.
a really nice meal, and I was like, oh, he spent a lot of money on this meal. Okay, you know what? This is a little $49 meal. I got him.
Yeah.
You know. And I was upset about even spending that because I was like,
Wow.
oh, you have annoyed me.
Wow.
You know that whole situation. I said, we need to go.
Wow.
And I wanted my money back. I
Yeah,
should have
I
asked him, can you cash at me
Send him a
that 25, 34?
I don't mind treating.
Yeah.
But it's interesting that I've encountered a lot of men who even the smallest thing are like, how dare you even pull out your card?
I love those men.
How dare you? And I'm like, literally, this is costing me $10. Do not ever do that.
I
So those
love
are those
men.
the chocolate ones? The
Right.
Ghana, the Ghana.
Do I need this 99% cacao?
Honey, okay, 99% cacao.
Girl, how dare you?
How dare you? Literally,
That's a man right there.
Literally, there was a guy that I was dating, and he always paid for everything. There was never any question.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it wasn't like, I'm going to pay for everything. It was just like, that's just what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
We went out for like ice cream. And I had already made up in my mind, I'm paying for this because you won't ever let me pay for anything.
Right.
And this was my suggestion. Yeah. I want to treat you to ice cream.
Right.
Okay, I'm not spending hundreds of dollars on ice cream. So I purposely positioned myself in front of him, order first so that I could get to the counter first. And I get to the counter, already had my card out, ready to go. And he was like, what are you... He was we were literally playing like with the cards, like fighting with the cards at the thing. And I was like, this is ice cream. So let me pay for the ice cream. Like, what is happening now?
That's a good fight. Eventually, it would upset me. I would be like, okay, I need you to let me pay. I want to treat you, but I still love the fight.
Because I want to treat someone. I like treating people.
And I had a guy one time, we weren't dating, but every time we hung out, he did treat me. And there was one time I got somewhere, but we were meeting up for happy hour. I got there first. I went ahead and ordered a drink. It was happy hour, so it was probably like $5. And he got there, and he was like, all right, we decided to go someplace else. And he's like, all right, let me pay for the drink that I had already had. And I was like, oh, it's fine. I already paid for it. And he was like, he was literally offended. And I was like, it's a $5 drink. He was like, his whole explanation was, you're out there doing your thing. You're killing it every day. The least I could do is take the stress of paying off of you.
Wow.
We weren't even dating.
Y'all not dating no more?
We weren't even dating. We were just...
That's the third one you done said.
That's because he was trying to get up.
Let's go back to this picky conversation. Let's go back to that. What's happening? Are you okay?
Wow, the joke.
Okay, we're gonna talk. We're gonna do an intervention after this.
No, but we weren't dating. But that was his thing. Is he was like, as a man, if I am even just hanging out with a female friend who's out there doing her thing and she's grinding every day, hustle, whatever you want to call it, and we go out, the least I could do is take the stress of, even if it's not a stress, but take the stress of paying the bill off of you.
I will say this.
And I was like, wow, I've never...
It's I hate to use these words because they're controversial, but they're not controversial, but I don't want them to be my language. Anyway, frequencies and vibrations, right? I know. Yeah. But at the end of the day, it's the mindset. Where are you? And you got to find your people. And I'm like, I have been, because I've had a situation... I've had a few situations like that where the guy's like, I insist on paying. Never when we're fighting, but it's very much like, let me pay, please. Yeah. And I've had others where the guys are like, I'm totally okay with you treating me. It's totally cool. Mm-hmm. But I feel like those type of men I need to get used to. Mm-hmm. Because I start to empathize. I start to make it an issue when it's not one, probably. Where I'm like, oh, you're always treating me like, I want you to know that I care, I appreciate you. So let me, but I think
I used to do that.
Yeah, oh my goodness. You saying... thank you is enough. You being pleasant and kind is enough.
But that goes back to being a solid foundation and being a provider. It's not necessarily that you can't do something. It's that I am providing this solid, safe space for you. Part of me providing that solid, safe space is to cover the cost of your meal when I take you out.
So then what's required from us?
To say thank you and to be kind and gracious and to receive it with love. And sometimes I'm not against treating. Mm-hmm. Definitely not. But I think that providing a space of beautiful, peaceful company. Yeah. Sometimes dudes don't get that.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I know she says that a lot. Listen, guys, I want us to go on, but we have to stop. I know we have to stop. We thank you guys so much for tuning in to the Maiden Myth Live. If you are on Spotify or Apple Music, iTunes, wherever, and you want to see this, come on over to YouTube so you can check us out, okay?
We're pretty.
We're pretty. Bye.